All right, everyone. So Borto Chapter 70 has officially been released, and I'm here to give you guys my review as always. Now, before we get to the actual review, I do have to remind you that if you like what you see here on this channel, please consider leaving a like, share this video, subscribe if you haven't, make sure to hit the bell for notifications, and as always, guys, let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. What did you think of the chapter? Did you like it? Did you hate it? Let me know all your thoughts in the comment section down below. So let's get to the actual chapter. And the chapter picks up right where the previous chapter left off, where Shikamaru made an offer to Ada to come join Konoha, and that way she'll be closer to Kawaki, since that is essentially her end goal. She wants to be with Kawaki, as she revealed to Shikamaru in the previous chapter. And here in this chapter, we do get an answer as to whether or not Ada would end up joining the Leaf Village or not. If you've read the chapter, you already know what happened. Or if you've been on the internet, you've probably seen people sharing images and information, so you probably already know what Ada's answer was, but we'll get to that. So the chapter starts off with, like I said, Shikamaru is still making the offer to Ada, and then we see Naruto making his way to the lab. He's punching in the code, but it doesn't work, and he's telling Ino to let him in because the code isn't working, and that's when Shikamaru makes contact with Naruto and is speaking to him thanks to Ino's jutsu, telling him that I need you to wait outside and that I'm actually saving you from the opponent's ability. And he even tells him, like, don't bust down through the door because, our budget continues to decrease year by year, and we don't need to spend any more money to fix the door, which probably makes sense considering how many times the Leaf Village gets damaged and they got to use a lot of money to fix it. So it does make sense that their budget would kind of get decreased year by year. A little bit of a levity added into the situation. So it shifts back to the inside of the lab, and Ada, we see her, she's activated her Senrigan, and she reveals to Shikamaru that she knows what's going on. And also, sorry, I forgot to mention this, but before it shifts back to Ada, we see Sasuke and Borto join Naruto outside of the door that leads to the lab. And Ada reveals to Shikamaru that she knows that Naruto, Sasuke, and Borto are outside, and that she changed the code to the door in order to keep them outside. And Shikamaru, of course, is surprised, and he's wondering, like, how the hell does she know that? And that's when Amado is talking to him thanks to Ino's jutsu, and he tells him it's the Senrigan. So earlier I thought that Shikamaru knew just by looking at her eye that, oh, she's using the Senrigan, but it turns out no, it's actually Amado who's telling him that she has a Senrigan, and it allows her to see everything that's going on in the world, and she can also see past events. So Amado is the one who reveals it to her. And Shikamaru, of course, is annoyed that she has kind of an annoying ability, but he also surmised that, oh, she probably can't see like the conversation that's going on between them in their mind. So that he knows that there are limits to her ability and what she can and can't see. And then we have a confrontation between Ada and Code, where Code is asking her, like, hey, are you seriously considering taking him up on his offer? So basically showing us that the rift between them is still kind of continuing. And I still do believe that eventually a rift will form between them, to where Code is going to either turn on Ada and Damon, or Ada and Damon are going to turn on him and they're going to get rid of him, since they did imply to Code that we can get rid of you even if you have your limiters removed. We can still get rid of you, so just keep that in mind. So yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing where Kishimoto kind of takes that little storyline. And then Ada basically says to Code that we need to get out of here because she says that Kawaki is on his way. Now let's shift over to what's going on with Kawaki. Kawaki, we see him, he's still in the hospital bed, he's looking at his karma mark, and he's talking about how Amado, that bastard, he put the karma mark back without my consent. And then he tells him that on some level he's grateful, because if it wasn't for the karma mark, then Lord Seventh would probably be dead. And this is very interesting because we know how much Kawaki hates the karma mark, and yet at this moment we see that he's thankful that he actually has it. And he even goes so far as to say that I need it in order to accomplish what I want. And basically what we're seeing here is Kawaki is acting a lot like Sasuke did in part 1, where Sasuke was at a point where he was willing to do whatever it takes in order to gain power, even if it means doing something that he doesn't want. And then of course Sasuke kind of like turned away from that a little bit, to where he was at one point willing to kill Naruto to attain the power that Itachi told him. Of course, we knew that it was the Mangekyo. He was telling him, like, this is how you achieve the Mangekyo Sharingan. You need to kill your best friend. And then Sasuke turned away from it because he doesn't want to, like, follow in his brother's footsteps, and he'll gain power his own way. But here we're seeing Kawaki act a lot like Sasuke before he had that revelation at the end of part 1, to where now he's saying, like, I need the karma, even though this is something that I absolutely hated, because it gives me the power to accomplish what I want, which Kawaki wants to protect Naruto no matter what. And that's when Sumire talks to Kawaki and mentions to him that, I've noticed, I've been with Amado long enough to be able to know, or be able to tell at least, that him giving you the karma wasn't to help you, it was for his own purposes. Now, this is very interesting because Kawaki already distrusts Amado. So Sumire telling him this is going to just make him distrust him even more. Like Sumire telling him that Amado didn't give you the karma mark because of what he told you before, where he said, I can give you the power you need to defend Lord Seventh. No, it wasn't because of that. It was for his own purposes. And so now Kawaki's probably going to be even more pissed off at Amado, and probably going to ask Amado the same questions that Shikamaru wanted to ask him, to where, why did you really restore Kawaki's karma mark? Like, what's your end goal? And maybe we'll find out about that in the next chapter. At least I hope, if what is kind of hinted at the end of this chapter doesn't actually happen. We'll get to that, of course, don't worry. But let's get back to what's happening now. So that's when Ada notices, thanks to her Senrigan, that Kawaki is on his way. So he used Sukuna Hikona to basically escape through the air vents, and now he's about to enter the room. So she's telling him, like, we need to get out of here. And Code actually looks a little bit afraid because, he knows that as he is now, he can't take on Kawaki. Like, there's nothing he can do against him. And Ada wants to leave because, she said she doesn't want Kawaki to see her here, because if he knows that she's with the enemy, then he's not going to want anything to do with her. Although that kind of goes out the window, because Shikamaru, like, he can tell him that, yeah, Ada, this woman Ada's with him, so Kawaki's already going to know. So even if later on she tries to tell him that, no, I wasn't with Code, it's like, Kawaki's not going to listen. He's shown in the past that he can be pretty stubborn. Like, he doesn't care what your reasoning is. All he cares about is, you at one point helped this guy who threatened Lord Seventh. So that gives me enough reason to take you out. And Ada's ability is not going to work against Kawaki, remember, because he's 80% Otsutsuki. So it's not going to work on him. So there's nothing she can do to basically stop him from trying to kill her. So I'm really looking forward to seeing where Kishimoto sort of goes with that, at least. So Kawaki shows up, but unfortunately he's too late, because Code, with his claw mark, pushes Amado through, and he takes him basically back to the lair. But before he leaves, Code looks at Shikamaru and he tells him this line where, normally I don't like to promote animosity, but because of what you did here, I'm adding you to my list. So now it's not just Naruto, Sasuke, Kawaki, Borto, and Amado. Now Shikamaru is added to the list, and I'm wondering if maybe Shikamaru or Kishimoto is sort of setting up a possible death flag for Shikamaru. I do wonder if that's going to happen. I guess we'll have to wait and see. But yeah, Code leaves, and that's when Kawaki arrives too late, and Shikamaru asks Kawaki to use Sukuna Hikona to destroy, or at least, miniaturize the claw mark, so Code can't use it to come back and invade the Leaf Village. And then we cut back to their lair, where they've been all this time before they invaded the Leaf Village. And there, Code is torturing Amado. Amado is telling him, like, what guarantee do I have that you're not going to kill me the second I remove the limiters? Like, how do I know that? And he's telling him, it's like, you don't know that, but otherwise the torture isn't going to stop. And he's basically trying to negotiate with him. It's like, okay, look, I'll remove the limiters as long as you guarantee that you don't kill me. And then Code says, basically telling him he's not going to screw around anymore. And that's when Amado says the command code. And I'm not going to lie, when I read it, I was like, okay, really? This is the command code. It was kind of funny. Like, I'm not going to lie. If you read the chapter, I'm not going to repeat it here. It was okay. Whatever. So yeah, Amado says the command code, and now Code's limiters have officially been removed. Now, I'm gonna be honest, for a while now, I didn't think it was going to happen. I thought it was one of those things that Kishimoto was setting up and was going to sort of, swerve the audience by not actually having it happen. It's like he, consistently talking about Code having his limiters removed, only for Code to die before having his limiters removed. At least that's what I thought was going to happen, but it turns out no, that's not what's going to happen. And there you go. Code officially has his limiters removed, and then we see his and I actually have to credit the artwork for Ikimoto here. Like normally, and again, I'll never call Ikimoto's artwork bad, of course not, because that's just objectively wrong. But his artwork, or more specifically his paneling, has been kind of lackluster, at least for me personally, is what I'm trying to say. But I do really like how he did this scene right here, to where you get a back shot of Code and you see the smoke coming around him, and then it immediately cuts to a shot of Ada and Damon reacting to it, and then it cuts to a big panel of Code, like a full body Code, and you get to see what he looks like now. And there's not really a lot of changes. Like his hair is just spiked up a bit, and the eyelashes are a bit more defined, and they're white now as opposed to what they were before. Like he had black eyelashes, now they're white, and they kind of look like Gojo from Jujutsu Kaisen. Like if you've seen his eyelashes, it's basically it's kind of the same. And Code ends up looking at his karma mark, and he says, "It's nice to feel like I won't lose to anyone." And I found this interesting because when he said that line, he was looking at Ada and Damon specifically. And again, I'm wondering if they're hinting that Code is going to end up turning on them, because there's a lot of things in this chapter, and even in the previous chapters, that hint at a possible rift happening between these two, or between Code and Ada and Damon. And then one thing that you notice is that Code's fingernails are now black, as opposed to what they were before, where there weren't any. Like he didn't have any, like, nail polish or whatever, but now his fingernails are black, kind of like an Otsutsuki member, honestly. And I wonder if maybe when we get the full color version, or maybe in the next chapter, we're going to get like a cover art where it's colored, and we'll see what Code actually looks like. Maybe he'll look more like an Otsutsuki now than he did before. At least that's what I think they're hinting at with the artwork here. But I don't know. That's just what I'm getting. I could be wrong. And the chapter ends with Code about to basically kill Amado, or at least that's what it looks like. Personally, I don't think Amado is going to die in the next chapter, because there's still a lot of things that we don't know. For example, we don't know why Amado is doing any of this, so I don't think that Kishimoto is going to kill him before he reveals to us like who Amado is, what his motives are, why did he do all this stuff, why did he align himself with Jigen or Ishiki, or why is he so obsessed with Kawaki's karma, why is he so obsessed with it? So I don't think he's going to die. But anyway, guys, that is the chapter. Overall, I thought the chapter was fine. Again, not a lot happens, but we did get a lot of very interesting information, including an exchange between Amado and Shikamaru that I forgot to mention, where Amado reveals to him that Ada's ability doesn't work on blood relatives and Otsutsuki. And Shikamaru says, wait, Otsutsuki, so like Borto and Kawaki. And Amado basically says, yeah, and he tells him, or Shikamaru tells him, why didn't you mention something like this before? And he tells him, because if I did, then you would have just called Kawaki in to fight Ada and Damon. And Shikamaru says, well, why is that a bad thing? And Amado says that I can't do that because he nearly died last time without Ada. If he fights them this time, he could actually die, and I can't have Kawaki dying on me. So again, we're seeing this obsession with Amado when it comes to Kawaki's karma. So I don't think Amado is going to die before Kishimoto reveals that to us. At least that's what I think. Anyway, that's all I have to say, guys. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. If there's anything I missed, let me know about it in the comments as well. And if you enjoyed this video, please consider leaving a like, sharing this video, subscribe if you haven't. Make sure to click the bell for notifications, and I hope I see you for my next review. Bye for now.